Um, Good morning, good night. Granted, it's almost 11 o'clock at night when I'm doing this. My name is Sarah Luke, and I am doing my project on my literary, um, Southern literary art project on um, The Blood Burning Moon by Jean Tomer and The Worn Path by Eudora Welty. I apologize if I'm not looking at the camera consistently. My notes are on my computer behind me, and we have a special guest, my black cat Umbreon, who decided to sit in my lap, so you'll see his head at one point. Going into it, the reason I picked these two stories is because it is very much a localized setting of the South. Like, Burning Moon, Blood Burning Moon, my apologies. Blood Burning Moon takes place in rural Georgia, where, in a small town that is mostly slave plantations and farms, while A Worn Path is about a woman traveling from wherever she is through a thick, dense forest to town to get her grandson medicine. And the two paintings, and the reason I chose paintings like that is because landscape is very powerful and gives very different context to what is going on in the story. So the first artwork I chose is Michael J. Deas, Deas. Can't pronounce that. I think it's Days. Painting The Clearing. It's a very large open space with a man, a large open sky with a man, a small figure kind of like in the center of it, and it's painted like a storm just passed through. From my interpretation of the painting, it looks like it's there's always something bigger than your problems, kind of like mentality. But you can also relating it to Blood Burning Moon, it's to symbolize the tension and the stillness at the same time. It is very much a reminder of Blood Burning Moon because it does take place I do believe in an open field, if I remember correctly, with a harvest moon, because the blood moon is a harvest moon, hanging over the sky. It plays a very symbolic role, due to it being described as evil or a bad omen. Another visual instance, Umbreon. Another visual instance would be a scene from Practical Magic when Sally gets Jillian from the motel, and it's like a ring around the moon, like a red ring around the moon. It was supposed to be meant as a bad omen. Some people do view the harvest moon like that. I think another one would be Scooby-Doo Zombie Island, because it was during a harvest moon when they put the cat curse on the pirates. Ignore that. That was a rambling. But them seeing the red moon as a bad omen, it creates tension or predicts the violent happenings that are to come. It's a foreshadowing event. It's a very emotionally charged, which is represented through Day's painting as well. They both use it as a way to intensify the emotions. Instead of just having it be a setting, it's context. Another connection to the artwork would be that it emphasizes isolation, because I do believe Louisa, since her husband is gone all the time, she felt very alone. She felt isolated from everybody because the person who's supposed to be her companion with her is not there, even though he's working to provide for her. Same could be done by the figure. It's only one figure that's in the center of the painting of the sky. So they're isolated away from everything as well. Like they're being isolated. In a deeper contextual meaning, it could also represent the isolation that of the time between the racial isolation during the time, which I'm sorry, I'm lost in my thoughts right now. I lost my place on my notes. The racial tension and isolation that was during the time of the South. The second artwork I looked at would be Edmund Pramuk's Ice Rising from the Sea 2, which is more of an abstract painting compared to the beautiful landscape of Days. But it still does have a strong presence of movement and struggles through the colors and the shapes it used. I picked this painting to be compared to A Worn Path because of the journey that Phoenix Jackson goes through. She has to use all of her energy to push against the resistance that she is facing through the obstacles of the forest, of the thorns, the hills, the barriers, because she is an older lady. It's very difficult for her to walk that distance. But seeing how her grandson needs medicine, she uses that to build up the resilience and uses it as a power to move forward. The shapes and the colors look like they're rising upward. So it's like a way for the energy of Phoenix is like that, moving her forward, moving her up, keeping her going. Sorry, I lost my place again. Another important theme that connects both the artworks and the stories is that the landscape shapes the human experience. A Worn Path, the environment is part of Phoenix's struggle, while in Burning Moon, the southern sky is the emotional representation of the emotional intensity of the moment that is being played, which helps brings out the certain foreshadowing of the conflict, and the artworks are very similar because of the landscape uses that represents those same tensions and emotions through the colors and the space and use of negative space and the composition that is used. Overall, comparing the visuals helps highlight how artists and writers explore the similar themes through different forms of expression. Like, I paint a little bit, but I'm not as good as a painter as my sister. But her way to look through life and get through her emotions is through painting. Mine is through writing. I get all my emotions down in writing, and she lets all her emotions go onto a painting. That's how we're different. And I very much, it's very, and it also explains how much of, they're both art forms, but they're different kinds of art forms. So the use of the imagery and the narrative descriptions creates a very similar effect and emotional resonance between artwork and writing. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Have a good night.